ANC struggle stalwart Rita Ndzanga will be laid to rest in her hometown of Ventersdorp this morning. She died last Wednesday at the age of 89. The former member of parliament and National Order recipient will be buried in a provincial special official funeral. Ndzanga was remembered for her fight against apartheid and workers' rights. During her memorial service on Thursday, former President Thabo Mbeki called on the ANC to emulate her selfless service to the people instead of using the ANC to attain a power, influence and riches. Well, Newzroom Africa's Refilwe Seboko joins us live now from Ventersdorp. Refilwe, what can you tell us about today's proceedings?
Well, I will tell you this much, that we are currently at Ndzanga's home. This is where the family has said that they're going to just have a short prayer just before we depart to Gamokgopa Community Hall, which is where the official funeral service will be taking place. And as you can see behind me, the singing of the military members, you'll understand that this is the sign of the contribution to Ndzanga to the struggle, together with her fighting for workers during the apartheid era. But however, she was also a grandmother to some. As you will also remember, that we saw tributes by the grandson and the family as well. Here we see she was also a good, as they are describing her, that she was also a good community member. We see community members of Gamokgopa village coming. They've been here since in the morning to come and assist the family with that which needs to be done as preparations are underway. But let me welcome Lawrence Ndzanga. He is the grandson to Rita. Lawrence, good morning and thank you so much and welcome to Newzroom Africa.
Good morning, thank you for having me.
And tell us about your relationship with your grandmother.
With my grandmother, I really loved her, and she was, I don't know, it's hard to call a grandparent a best friend, but like, Gogo was like my world, from when I was a child. She'd take me with her to Parliament sometimes when I was a kid, and then when she retired in 2009, I'd come and see her a lot, from just taking her to the mall to get groceries, taking her to the doctor, or taking her wherever she needed to be, I'd go see her. And like, if I'd, as you grow older, your priorities go all over the place, like you start working and stuff like that. So like, if there'd be times I wouldn't see her, she'd call me, and be like, yo, where have you been? She'd be like, Digela, where have you been? And I'd have, oh God, I've been busy. I'd feel so guilty, but then when I'd go see her, everything would be square. Everything would just be like back to normal. She'd just be so happy to see me, and I'd be so happy to see her as well,
And what are some of her teachings that will live on forever for you, or that you will continue and maybe even pass on to the younger ones?
So for me personally, I would say it would be fighting for what you believe in, and not taking any bull, if you see whether it's injustice or just something that's wrong, you shouldn't just sit by in the sidelines and do nothing, because like I consider Gogo a hero, and for me personally, a quality of a hero is someone who doesn't just sit by in the sidelines, someone who takes action, and Gogo was that kind of person. So I also hope people take that away from her and her legacy.
And that legacy, what does it do to you, and how are you going to make sure that you take it forward?
I'd say I'll just do my best to play my part, whatever that may be, whenever I am needed, whether it's by family, whether it's by friends, whether it's by, I don't know, the country at large. Whatever is needed from me, I must take action and not just sit by, not just let things decay, whether it's her legacy, whether it's keeping the family together or anything like that. I just have to do my part, because that's what Gogo would do. If it was within her power to do something, she would do it. So I'd like to take that from her.
And how do you think the world will continue to remember her, or how do you want the world to continue to remember Gogo?
I'd like the world to remember her for her resilience. I'd like them to remember her for her compassion, her kindness. As you know, like, there's been stories from many different people who consider her their mother, even though it's not biologically. She would take them in even when she was separated from her own children, or when her own children were in exile. So I just want people to remember that part of her, I want them to remember the fighter, Mam Rita, the fighter, the pillar of the community, but I also want them to remember Mam Rita, the mother, the woman who was filled with love, who was filled with compassion and understanding.
Lawrence, thank you so much, and condolences once again to the family.
Thank you very much.
That is the grandson to Rita Ndzanga, Lawrence Ndzanga, and as he's saying that he would like the world to continue remembering Gogo Ndzanga as somebody who was very resilient, as much as she was the struggle icon, but she was also a mother to the community of Mogopa. Even when we saw the mothers that were here talking of how kind she was, and also how they will continue to remember her love and her warmth to also their grandchildren, to their children as well. So that is the kind of person that is being remembered. We also saw the mothers that are preparing behind us. They were ululating, I will tell you that much, earlier this morning. They're saying that's how they're going to remember Gogo Ndzanga, as a happy person. But we also understand that the family is going to have a short prayer just before we go to the community community hall. That's where the official funeral of Gogo Ndzanga will be happening, and Premier Bushimabe is going to be one of the speakers during that service.